Blogging Buddhist here, guys, coming to you once again from the comfort of my basement. Happy September. It's September 1st. Brand new month, which means I've crossed the finish line on something that I had decided to do for myself for the month of August, which is what I'm going to talk to you guys about today. But before I do that, if you wouldn't mind, take 30 seconds here and just go back to my main YouTube channel page and click that follow and subscribe button to make sure that not only will you be subscribed to my YouTube page, but you'll also be notified anytime that I'm posting new videos. And with the advent of this very lovely new microphone and the background lighting that's lighting up my face like a Christmas tree right now, filming videos for me is a lot easier, so here I am. So when karate closed out for the summer here a short while ago, that and taking into consideration that we traveled to New Brunswick for a couple of weeks to visit my family, I decided to have a alcohol-free month. Now, just to be clear here, folks, I don't have alcoholism. Okay, I don't drink to excess. That's not really the reason why I chose to do that. But I mean, I need to acknowledge that being type 1 diabetic means that alcohol will treat me in different ways depending on what it is I consume. So, and I've written about this often in my blog. If you haven't done so, by all means, visit that main blog page and check some of those posts. But you know, if you drink beer, beer is very heavy in carbohydrates. The average can has about 12 to 15 grams of carbohydrates, unless you're getting something lighter. If you're getting a tall boy, you're looking at about 25 grams of carbohydrates. So even if you only have 2-3 cans of beer, tall boys, throughout the evening, then you're dumping 75 grams of carbohydrates into your system here that a lot of people don't account for, or that your body might have difficulty processing. In some other circumstances, alcohol, for lack of a better term, it ties up your liver, because your liver has to process and filter that alcohol so that you can eventually piss it out. So while your liver is busy doing that, what it's not doing is it's not releasing glycol if your blood sugar drops. So you can actually suffer lows from consuming alcohol depending on what type you're drinking. So these are some of the issues that you can face. And given the fact that, karate will be starting again here next week, and I'm looking at hitting it hard and getting back into it and refocusing my efforts so that I can hopefully regain a little bit of what I've potentially lost here while everyone was kind of stuck at home for a couple of years on the pandemic. So I made the decision. I was like, okay, you know what? For the entire month of August, from August 1st to August 31st, there will be no alcohol that touches my lips. Which shouldn't sound like a big deal, but when you're a blogger and you sit in front of a keyboard for a couple of hours during the late hours of the evening, it's exceptionally nice to have that stiff whiskey or that glass of red wine sitting there to help you write and to help relax you after a long day of work. I haven't often been in a situation where I can just come home, crack open a cold one and relax. I've never really been in that position, having been a police officer for 13 years. Typically I just stayed away from all that garbage. And as I've written in previous posts before as well, unlike my counterparts of the same age, I never really had the opportunity to go out during my teen years drinking with my buddies and stuff like that. That was never something I did. I actually had my first beer at the age of 23 when I visited Okinawa with Sensei back in 2001. So not only did I not consume alcohol until much later in my life, but it's never really been something that I've indulged in a lot until recent years. Like many people with the pandemic, it affected my household, it affected me, it changed some of the dynamic, and I suddenly came to realize that, you know what, I have the opportunity, I have the availability, I have it there, and I can do it, so why not? Hey, I'm about to sit down and write a blog post, I'm going to have a whiskey while I write, But there are a lot of things that alcohol does to the body as well that, can and do hinder one's health and fitness and can affect blood sugar, things of that sort. So I decided to cut it out for the month of August. Now, I was a little bit sly about it because we were gone in New Brunswick for the first 2 weeks of August, having left during the last week of July, and we didn't get back until the Friday before I went back to work on Monday the 15th of August. So we actually got back to Regina here on the Friday evening. Prior to that, don't don't recall what the date is here now, but just to give you an idea, we were gone for the first couple of weeks of the month. So that cut the month in half for me right there. And of course, having been back home in Dalhousie, New Brunswick, I had agreed with myself, I guess, to make one exception to the no alcohol rule, and that was if I managed to get together with Sensei and he and I shared a beer, or if I got together with any of my old karate colleagues and we went somewhere for a beer. That would be the only exception I would make. However, I did meet up with some karate colleagues, as I've written about as well, about my trip, and we ended up doing coffee, which was fantastic. And of course, Sensei never got back to me, and I never got to meet him on this visit. So I guess the silver lining is no beer touched these lips during the month of August either, so that was a good thing. So here we are. We're September 1st. I haven't had alcohol in a full month, and what I want to do is I want to share some of the things that I've more or less noticed have changed as a result of cutting that out. So some good and some bad, I guess. The first one, the bad, is I don't fall asleep as easily. So having been a police officer and having been exposed to a certain number of things, I do suffer from PTSD. I have some issues, and I have difficulties sometimes falling asleep. Meditation, white noise, pink noise, red noise, those things help. Usually I need something in the background in order to allow me to go to sleep. Otherwise, I'm sitting awake and I'm jumping at every little sound that I hear in the background. So, having that stiff drink right before bed does tend to help me get off to sleep. However, I'm sure, as most of you would have read anywheres, it's not as good a quality of sleep as if you're falling asleep naturally. Yeah, you're going to sleep easier, but the quality of sleep you're getting is not the same. On the plus side, once I do sleep, if something happens that it does turn out to be kind of a shitty night's sleep, where either the baby has woken me up, or I've had nightmares, or I just haven't managed to sleep well, and I didn't get a full 8 hours, maybe I've only gotten 5 or 6 hours or something, it's not a complete deal breaker for my day afterwards. So typically, if I've had that drink or two in the evening before, I wake up the next morning because I didn't sleep worth half a damn, my day is screwed. Like, I feel like absolute crap. I'm floating through my day. I'm not as productive. So that's been eliminated. Like, if something happens that I lack sleep, I still have enough energy to productively get through my day. It's a lot less detrimental. Another thing I've noticed is I'm not as bloated. There are some days where I just kind of feel like, even leaning over to tie my shoes, I'm like, holy frig, I can barely reach my toes. Like, 25-year-old me would be ashamed of myself. And I mean, I'm by no means obese. I'm a combination of my mother and father. I'm not an exceptionally tall guy. I do have some bulk to me. Some of that bulk is a result of my fitness, of course. But yes, definitely less bloated, more energy. So for the past couple of weeks here, I've been working out consistently, almost on a daily basis. Even if it's just for half an hour, I've been doing body weight circuits. I haven't gotten out on the bike as much as I've wanted, but I've been getting out there a little bit. But yeah, like, I've got a lot more energy even when I'm putting in a full day. I get home and it's like, okay, I've had a bite to eat. Now I got to go downstairs, hammer out a half hour. So I'll do some forms. I'll lift some weights. I've got my shitty little $200 treadmill that doesn't work half a damn, that I run on a little bit. So I get some kilometers in by running without having to do it outdoors. A couple of different things like that. So it's definitely been beneficial, not least of which is to mention that it's saving a lot of cash, because, as I'm sure any of you can attest to, if you have the occasional drink, alcohol isn't cheap. And of course, my blood sugar levels are a lot easier to control, because I don't have to sit there and constantly check my blood sugar levels. There's that French tongue coming out again. But a lot less paranoid with my blood sugars, because I know they'll regulate a lot better without introducing alcohol into the mix. So here we are, September 1st. I've had some individuals joking with me, I guess September 1st, once you get off work, you're going to get home and you're going to crack one open. Well, no, actually, not really interested. I'm going to hold off. It's not something I need. It's not something that at the moment that I need to indulge in. So who knows? Maybe this will just be a return to my youth where I'm not going to be consuming alcohol for the foreseeable future unless certain things come up. I know on September 19th I'll be in Saskatoon for my eye injections again, typically the evening of, as a means of fighting the pain a little bit. I'll go down to the Irish pub that's part of my hotel, and I'll have a cold beer or two. So I don't know. Who knows? Maybe by September 19th I'll decide, okay, I'm here. There's an opportunity. I'll have a drink. But besides that, it's not something that's weighing me down. It's not something that's dragging on my soul. And I made it through the month. It was no big deal. I was able to manage it. There are nights I wasn't particularly happy if it was a hard day at work, or I had a really long week or something of that sort, and I'd get home and, my usual recourse would be like, okay, you know what? I'm going to pour a stiff one, go sit in my garage and relax with a cigar. And that's an element that's been missing. So, I mean, it's a vice, right? It's a vice. It's habits that we develop that we don't need to have, that we shouldn't have, and that can hinder our overall health and our overall fitness. So hopefully it's a step in the right direction. I'm definitely seeing it as a positive thing. I don't know if the people in my environment think it's positive either, because as with all things in life, I'm not without my instances of bitching about things that don't go right. So either way, here we are. We've hit September. I've successfully managed to make it happen, so I'm happy with that. And I guess we'll see what the month of September brings. I'll keep you guys updated if I make it through a second month of the same thing. Maybe the next thing to go will be cigars. Maybe the Red Seas will part again. I guess we'll see. But in the meantime, thanks for listening, guys. That's what's happened with me for the month of August. If you haven't done so already, make sure that you visit my main blog website at www.thebloggingbuddhist, all one word.com, for daily content on martial arts, health and fitness, diabetes, and Buddhism. And once again, thanks for watching.